The game was just 6 minutes old when a policeman drew the referee's attention to what was happening at the Leppings Lane end of the ground.
On April the 15th, 1989, 96 people died following a crush on the Leppings Lane terraces of the Hillsborough football ground at the FA Cup semi-final between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. In his official report, Lord Justice Taylor criticised South Yorkshire Police for causing the disaster and then trying to deflect the blame onto the Liverpool supporters. Do you, as the Chief Constable of South Yorkshire Police, fully accept the findings of the Taylor report?
The Taylor report is unequivocal and condemns South Yorkshire Police for its attitude leading up to the results in the Taylor report. It's quite straightforward in its dissatisfaction with South Yorkshire Police at that time and its lack of acceptance of responsibility.
David Duckenfield, the superintendent in charge at Hillsborough, was commanding his first major football match. He was promoted just 3 weeks earlier, replacing an officer who was experienced in policing matches at Hillsborough.
He certainly had not commanded an event of this scale, and the officer who had was involved in the initial planning and then was not there at the crucial time. I focus on whether that was the right decision. We know now it was not. Nowadays, it's a different culture in the police service. If I suggested to a newly promoted superintendent that they would be commanding a major public event with no previous experience, without the right training and without the right development, they would rightly tell me that I was wrong and they would not do it. You know, as I went through my public order and football ground commanders training, the first input in every course was about the Hillsborough disaster. And with the footage and a complete recognition of where we went wrong and how our responsibility would be to make sure that we did our part in the future in avoiding this kind of thing happening again.
20 years later, the families of those who died maintain that there are still unanswered questions. One of their biggest issues is that the coroner's inquest limited its inquiry to what happened only up to 3:15 p.m. on the day of the disaster, so it has never been investigated whether lives might have been saved had the response been better organised.
All the time, if you've had people die, you will see conspiracy. As somebody who's more or less dispassionate, I need to be dispassionate to protect the public. As I look at them, I see confusion.
Is that how the police talk about it now, that there was confusion, there was chaos, if you like, in the response on the day?
They're all identified in the Taylor report as a lack of command and a lack of leadership.
Do you understand their frustration, the family's frustration with that, though, with that 3:15 cut-off, that they haven't had that?
I understand it, but that's not for the police service to comment.
It emerged later that after Hillsborough, South Yorkshire Police had changed junior officers' statements. The families condemned that as black propaganda, but Lord Justice Stuart Smith, in his 1998 judicial scrutiny, decided there had not been a cover-up.
The point has been made, and the point has also been addressed quite specifically by Lord Justice Stuart Smith's inquiry, and I have to stand by his inquiry. He had every statement given to him. He had the chance to see amended statements against the originals and was able to judge it, and he made his comments quite straightforwardly that he did not see those signs of conspiracy.
Meredydd Hughes insists still that the police did not amend the statements to whitewash their own responsibility for Hillsborough.
My belief, from my review of it, and Lord Justice Stuart Smith's belief from his much closer examination, is that it's not systematically an attempt to hide the truth.
The families believe there remain many documents which the police have still not made public, which would show how far the process of amending statements went and who was responsible.
I believe the force has come clean. It came clean by those who were closer to it in 1998 than those of us can possibly be in 2009. What I can say is I will go and ask my people if we have material that we have not released that we can release. And if we can, we will.
And if you do find things which cause you concern, even at this stage, do you think that you might then issue, you would be open to the idea of issuing an apology if you think there are things that the police should apologise for?
If I found things were wrong, then certainly.
Since recording this interview, Meredydd Hughes has written to The Guardian, confirming that he has triggered a review to identify any other documents held by South Yorkshire Police which can be made public.